Claude launched a very powerful feature that, when combined with Firecrawl, allows you to scout basically everything. For this video, I'll show a use case of mine, which is scouting for AI news. But this honestly goes as far as your imagination, and we'd love to know what you're building. So please leave that below down in the comment section. As for the new feature from Claude, we are now able to schedule recurring tasks in Cowork. So if you've ever used Claude Desktop, you might have seen this Cowork tab up here. And in here, you're able to do overall tasks related to documents inside of your computer. And now with the Schedule tab, you're able to schedule specific tasks that can run in a manual frequency, hourly, daily, weekdays, or weekly. And as for choosing the folder, if you're not working with a specific folder, you don't need to choose this. You may select a model or just leave it at default, then add your prompt description and name. I'll show that in just a bit. But before I do, let me show you an example of something that is already working for me. So inside of this instructions tab, it's basically showing my prompt. To execute it, I can click on Run Now or see past executions down here in the history part. And in here on the right side, you can see the Context tab. This is where your connectors will be listed. This daily news fetcher is basically like a skill that is guiding that scheduled moment. So if you click on that, you'll be taken back to the task. The progress bar is basically a step-by-step that guides Claude Code on what it needs to do. And during its execution, the first thing it did was read the skill for this schedule, then use Firecrawl to search everything. And also because the Firecrawl search endpoint can also answer back with the markdown already done, Claude Code now has all the context. And because of that, it updates the to-do list and proceeds to create the calendar event. I added this as my connector, but you can find a different one that is more specific to your use case. And in just a few minutes, I received the AI news research task. Ideally, this should guide me throughout all the news in AI, agentic coding, vibe coding, everything that I need to start off the day with the past 24 hours news fetched from Firecrawl. Now, I know some of you might be thinking why to use Firecrawl, considering that Claude already has a search mechanism inside of it. A lot of you already know the answer to this and know that Firecrawl is optimized for scale, but also that it has many different parameters that empowers Claude to search much better. One of those tools, and you can check this out in the playground. So let me type in AI news. This is for the search endpoint, and I'll click here in the configuration button. Here you'll see a time-based. So if I select the past 24 hours, now I'll only get results that were actually posted in the past 24 hours. If I want to add a location, so for example, Brazil, that will show up for me. So country, Brazil, I can select that. And I will only get results from that specific location. So depending on your use case, this is absolutely massive. I've just started a fresh new session instead of Claude Desktop Cowork. Let's first go over to Customize. This is where you'll find the connections. In here, click on Connectors. In Connectors, click the plus button, add custom connector. Let me type in Firecrawl, and here you'll want to add the remote MCP server URL. This will be in the description of the video, but just in case, here is the documentation for that. Let's grab that, go back, add that there, and we still need to add the Firecrawl API key. To get that, go over to the Firecrawl dashboard. In API keys, hit create. Let's add a AI news as the name of the key. After it's created, let's just copy that, go back and just replace it with the key. Hit add, and the Firecrawl MCP should be there just fine. Now you should find the Google Calendar connector down here, but if you don't, just hit the Browse Connectors button, and it should be there as well as other connectors you can choose. After you hit connect, you should be redirected to this page where you just need to select your email, allow Claude to have access to your calendar, and after you do, you'll be redirected back to Claude Desktop over at Cowork. For some reason, it just refreshed everything. But now if you go back to the customized page instead of connectors, everything should be there. With that said, we can go to the scheduled page, click on new task, add a prompt. My prompt will be as simple as use Firecrawl to search for AI news. And further on, if you want to read through everything, feel free to pause the video, as I think a lot of people would find it boring to just hear me read through everything. So the name of the task could be daily news search. The description can be something like use Firecrawl to search for AI news and add it to Google Calendar. You do not need to select a model, but I'll select the best one available. So Claude Opus 4.6 folder to work in. No need to select that. I'll leave the frequency at manual. And after I hit create, it should be done. We can get inside of that task, hit run now. And now we can find the task running over here. After clicking on it, it seems like it's reading the skill. Okay. It just updated its to-do list. Now it's using Firecrawl to search for everything. It seems to be running in parallel, which is pretty amazing. It seems like it's done and already updated the to-do list. Now let me filter the result for factual reason. Oh, it already has all the results and it's just reasoning on it to then create the calendar event, which it's also already doing. Probably the first time it'll ask for permission. So allow for all scheduled events. Now it is done. Let's take a look back at our calendar to see if everything was done successfully. All right, so this is what it retrieved. And again, ideally, we should always try to iterate and make the response be as close as what we expect it to be. And one thing I'm already going to try to fix is that it's bringing back results from more than 24 hours. And that's likely because it is not taking advantage of the Firecrawl parameter to retrieve only results within that time frame. So I'll help Claude by specifying Firecrawl search has a specific way of fetching for 24-hour results only. Please use it. So let me hit save, run now, and I can already see if it improved. Okay, it seems like it's done. So looking at its execution now, it's actually using the date parameter 23 hours ago. So now we should have fresher data to work with. So now just by iterating once and taking full advantage of Firecrawl's features, we have a much, much better result. And also another way you can see how these connectors are working is by checking this context field and clicking on the actual connector. There you can see all the tools that were used, as well as how they were requested and the responses to each. And that is it for today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Till then.